Blessings and welcome. You've found your way back to the chthonic hearth. I took a few weeks off from this podcast because I've been moving the furniture around, so to speak. From this point forward, this podcast is going to focus entirely on tarot, but not in the way you might expect. We aren't going to talk about the meanings that you can find in a $5 guidebook. We are going to talk about the tarot as a living, breathing landscape. We are going to explore the underworld of the cards. So every month, we are going to pick a single major arcana card, and we are going to live inside of it. Week 1, we are going to meet the hidden life, the inhabitant, the soul, the myth behind the figure. Week 2, we're going to map the architecture. So the landscape, the mountains, the pillars, and the hidden geometry of the card's world. In week 3, we touch on the artifacts. So the tools, the lanterns, the swords, and the relics that hold the card's power. In week 4, we listen for the universal echo. So how that card is showing up in our modern, messy lives right now. Today, we meet the one that starts it all, card 0. The number that is a circle, an empty womb, an open mouth. We call him the Fool, but his true name is the Holy Innocent. He is the soul before the name. So take a breath with me. Forget your name. Forget your job. Forget your bank account. Let's go to the edge. To understand the Fool, we have to look at the legend of Parsifal. Parsifal's mother, heartbroken by the death of her husband in battle, fled to the deepest, darkest forest. She raised her son in total isolation. She never told him that knights existed, never told him what a sword was. She wanted to keep him pure, to keep him a fool, so the world could never break him. But one day, Parsifal sees 5 knights riding through the woods. To him, they aren't men in armor, they're angels. He doesn't know the rules of chivalry. He doesn't know he's supposed to bow. He simply follows them. When Parsifal eventually reaches the Grail castle, which is the most mystical, hidden place in the world, he finds the Fisher King, who is suffering from a wound that will not heal. All of these wise knights, the named heroes, and the educated lords that had come before him had failed. And they failed because they were trying to be clever. They were trying to solve a puzzle. Parsifal entered the Grail castle, the most sacred place in the world. And because he was so innocent, he didn't even know to be afraid. He didn't ask the right questions because he didn't know that there were wrong ones. That is the power of the Holy Innocent. When you don't know that failure is a possibility, you move with a grace that the wise can never touch. The wise are heavy with history. The fool is light because he is empty. The Fool represents the part of you that hasn't been educated out of its magic. It's the part of you that enters the Grail castle of a new life or a new love, not with a plan, but with an open heart. So Parsifal represents the power of not knowing. When we think we know everything, we're closed. But when we're fools, the Grail is always within reach. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment. We are going to walk beside him. Imagine you are standing at the very top of a mountain. The air is thin, cold, and impossibly sweet. Beside you stands a young man. He isn't wearing hikey having boots or carrying a map. He is wearing a tunic of silk, embroidered with pomegranates and suns. He looks like he's dressed for a party, not a survival mission. Look at his face. He isn't looking at the rocks. He's looking at the sun. Feel that sun on your own face. In his hand he holds a white rose, the symbol of a desire that hasn't been corrupted yet. Over his shoulder is a stick with a small knapsack. Now start walking with him. Feel the loose gravel under your feet. Every step feels like it could be the last. You feel the barking dog of your own anxiety nipping at your ankles, telling you to turn back, find a trail, be sensible. But look at the fool. He's laughing. He's not laughing because he's brave. He's laughing because he doesn't believe in falling. To him, the cliff isn't an ending, it's a transition. As you walk beside him, I want you to feel your labels falling off. Feel the weight of, I am a mother, I am a failure, I am tired, I am broke. Feel those words turn into dry leaves that just blow off the cliff. Without those words, what is left of you? You're a pulse. You're a breath. You are the holy innocent. You reach the very edge. The fool doesn't hesitate. He doesn't look down to see how far the drop is. He looks at you, and for a second, his eyes aren't the eyes of a child. They are the eyes of the universe itself. He steps out. And for the heartbeat, there is total silence. No wind, no dog, no fear, just the zero. What did you feel in that silence? Most of us spend our lives building walls to keep the fool out. We call it maturity. We call it being an adult. But here we know that the fool is the most important guest. The soul before the name is the part of you that existed before the world got its hands on you. It is your primal self. This self doesn't care about your resume. It doesn't care about your mistakes. It only cares about the next step. When we move through the cards in the coming months, remember this feeling. Every other character we meet, the magician, the empress, the devil, they're all just costumes that the fool puts on. The fool is the actor behind every card. He is the one who agrees to be named so that the story can happen. If you feel stuck right now, it's because you've forgotten your zero. You've become so entangled in the 1 or the 10 that you've forgotten that you are, at your core, unbindable. You are the holy innocent. When we're children, we are told that we are Sally's daughter or a bright student. We're given names and labels like heavy coats. We're told that gravity exists. Be careful. Don't be a fool. But the soul remembers the time before labels. It remembers being the card of zero. The holy innocent lives in a state of radical trust. This is not the same as being stupid. Stupidity is ignoring a danger you know is there. But innocence is moving because you are in total alignment with your inner compass. The dog barking at his heels, that's the ego. That's the part of us that says, watch out, you'll look like an idiot. People will laugh. You'll lose your security. But the holy innocent doesn't hear the dog. He hears the wind. He hears the call of the abyss. The abyss doesn't swallow you. It becomes the path as soon as your foot touches the air. And here we must speak of the shadow. Every resident of the hearth has one. The shadow of the holy innocent is the internal pure, the one who refuses to ever take a name. This is the person who lives in perpetual potential but never manifests. You stay the fool for too long, you become a ghost. You never land, you never build, you never touch the earth. There is a tragedy in an innocence that refuses to grow. To remain a child forever is to deny the world your magician, your empress, your strength. The fool is the start of the journey, not the destination. The wholly innocent must eventually fall. He must hit the dirt. He must feel the pain of a skinned knee and the weight of a heavy heart. The goal isn't to stay the fool. It's to carry the spirit of the fool into every other card. It's about being a king who still remembers what it's like to be a child. It's about being a priestess who still remembers how to wonder. Look at your life. Where have you become too named? Where are you so heavily armored in your titles and your wisdom that you've forgotten how to breathe? Are you a business owner first? Or are you a soul who happens to be doing business? This week, I want you to find your white rose. Find one thing you can do, just one, without a reason or a plan. Do it simply because your soul wants to see what happens. Thank you for tending the flame at the chthonic hearth. Next week, we return to the hearth to explore the terrain. We've met our traveler. Now we must understand the land. We're going to be exploring the architecture of the abyss. We'll talk about the cliffs, the distance, and the terrifying beauty of the void that waits for the fool's foot. If you're looking for a personal map of your current journey, I offer custom tarot readings and more at thechthonic.weebly.com. Every path has a pattern, so let's find yours. So until we meet again, may you tend the flame of your own hearth with kindness and courage.